careful look at our future.
Now, because the theme of this night is 2020 vision, I thought I would share some visions I have for the year 2020. In 2020, we're all going to be graduating, those of us who survive anyway. Some of you will be going to the college of your dreams, and some of you will be going to college. In 2020, the middle school skirt length is going to be to our ankles. I mean, like, we're already halfway there, and at the rate we're going. 2020, we're going to have 27 gyms around the campus, but still no pool. 2020, Michigan's going to double in population because when global warming takes its toll, this will be the only bearable place to live. I wanted to include that in there to prove, like, not a complete dud when it comes to academics. In 2020, we'll finally become adults, which is pretty scary because some of us have really poor judgment. But the thing is, all these things are predictions. For all I know, we can have 30 gyms and still no pool. Because the future is in our hands, class of 2020, and although we don't control how many gyms Country Day builds or the skirt length, we do control our paths in life and our destinies. The next 4 years across the parking lot are going to be some of the best of our lives. It's going to be a long, hard journey to senior year and beyond. Are you ready? The first step to the future is high school, which begins next fall at freshman year. You've managed to prance your way through the middle school, but get ready to start back at square one again for high school. Your classes are harder, the pressure's heavier, the sports are later, the homework's longer, but hey, at least the girls' uniform's cuter. You can finally ditch the plaid tights and vest. You know, people always get themselves worked up over the fact that life, academically, artistically, and athletically, is going to get more challenging. That instead of being worried on how your parents are going to react when they see your report card, it turns to not only worrying about your parents, but colleges too. I'm not going to sit here and try and give you advice about high school because I'm in the same boat as all of you. Frankly, if you're looking at me to give you advice on not getting overwhelmed, time management, high school, future planning in general, you've absolutely come to the wrong person. If a teacher were to ask me, Leila, how do you effectively prepare for your finals, tests, and quizzes, my honest response would be, I don't. I procrastinate for hours just until panic settles in. It's pretty bad. Now, I may not know how to use my time wisely, but I do know that moving from the middle school to the high school is a hard one. But I'm confident in our ability as a class to make a graceful transition. I like to think that everything that happened to you in the middle school can be relative in the high school. Think of it like this. If you can function on 4 hours of sleep in Boston and still form a coherent answer to questions about the American Revolution, you can make it through your advanced history class the next day. If you can walk through Magic Kingdom at Disneyland in the pouring rain and somehow manage to stay somewhat attentive during a 6 hours long physics class, you can do that biology lab. Not to say that high school is going to be one big game of I've had it worse, but the past experiences you've had in the middle school will further prepare you for the challenges you face during high school. Or in other words, suffering is relative. It isn't like you've never taken a final exam before, and it isn't like you haven't suffered through an excessively long assembly before. Bigfoot. Online safety is important, but man, at what cost? If you put the middle school and high school side by side, I think you'd realize it's more relative than you think it is. You've made it this far in your academic career, and with the seeming relativity between the middle school and the high school, who's to say you're going to crash and burn through the next 4 years? Along with the change of pace in academics, athletics, and arts, there are going to be differences in your social life too. There are going to be new additions to your friend group, you might not be as close to people next year, and so on. Freshman year, we have so much to look forward to socially. Your advisory won't be by grades anymore. There's homecoming, winterfest, new clubs, new students, new teachers. But in order to fully experience these events, you have to be willing to put yourself out there. You aren't as weird as you think you are. They're going to be people with the exact same interests and passions as you do. Utilize the clubs that Country Day offers. High school isn't only a time to try and shine academically, artistically, and athletically. It's a time to experience new things and discover new passions. If you love to argue and think that debate would be fun, what's holding you back from signing up? If you love to write and think that journalism is cool, what's holding you back from working on the school newspaper? I know that change in itself is scary and you'll be busier than your average freshman, but if you don't use the resources you have now, when are you going to? You can't let petty things hold you back from doing what you love. Don't wake up in the morning and regret the fact that you never pursued, I don't know, debate, or never picked up an instrument. Don't say to yourself, I'll learn some other time, or I'll do that later in life, because the thing about life is that it only gets busier and busier. As John Chulzer once said, there's no time like the present, so use the time you have now to try out new things, because it's better to try something now and decide you don't like it than it is to not try at all. Use the present correctly and it will impact your future for the greater. The kind of sad part about moving on to high school is everyone I know is in this really big rush to grow up, to finally stop being treated like a kid, acting like a kid. No, don't get me wrong, growing up is really cool, and it's new and it's exciting, but we don't appreciate immaturity enough. I hope you realize you have only a brief period in life where it's socially acceptable to not act like an adult, if that makes any sense. So take a minute to slow down and stop growing up so fast, because once we become adults, we can't become kids again. Childhood isn't something you can have twice, so enjoy it while it lasts. It's really something that gets underappreciated. Believe it or not, the future is closer than you think it is, which I think that's why I rambled about appreciating immaturity and what you have or whatever. College is closer than you think it is, and becoming an adult is closer than you think it is. It's a great big world out there, and with the intelligence and dedication that this class has, we're going to make it even greater. These next 4 years are going to be some of the most memorable years of your lives, with prom, getting your driver's license, and applying to college. It's all going to fly by so fast. I know I've been preaching about getting prepared for the future for the last, 5 minutes? But here's to now, class of 2020. Here's to making it out of the middle school, and here's to moving on to another chapter of life. Here's to new beginnings and new dress codes, but most importantly, here's to you. Congratulations and thank you.